In the cloning process, Ripley is the number 8 clone, the first clone that became successful, and the earlier 7 stages are all kept in a laboratory setting. One of the stages is alive. The earlier 6 stages we have here on the wall, they're all the stages that didn't quite make it, from the smallest one all the way through to the 6th one. They all sort of represent some different convolution of a mix of human and alien DNA. You can see that, for example, this little one has the alien head, but a very human body with these weird alien arms, appendages. This one is more human in its general approach, although it's also been distorted in very different ways. The whole goal was to make each distortion for each individual creature completely different from any other stage, but yet each one harkens back to certain combinations of physical and alien features. For example, this stage we chose to put the characteristic alien tail and sort of just have it kind of melding right into the back and spine of this particular creature. We did away with the legs on this one, so it was more of an elegant transition into the tail, because this one was all about getting the tail combined with the human element. A lot of people thought this was one of the most chilling of the stages, and the reason is because there's so much of it that is normal. We did very little to the girl's body, with the exception of what's happened to her face, and there's so much that's right about this that your heart sort of goes out to this one, because you can almost feel its pain, and you have a lot of sympathy for this particular character. Whereas this one is much more monstrous and much more frightening. It's much more alien-esque in its face and its general appearance, with a human body. And this was also one of our favorites on set. They were all filled in with water in tubes and distorted, so as you look at them through this lensing effect of a plexiglass case, it just magnifies certain aspects of them. Next to the final stage actually incorporates somewhat of a likeness of Sigourney Weaver. We did a clay copy of her face and then severely changed it so that only around her eyes is there anything left that looks somewhat similar to the actress, and then completely sculpted her body, gave her a big alien arm and a long extended alien head.
These two figures represent the successful cloning of the character of Ripley. We start off with her as a child and morph into the face of the adult Ripley, and as the camera pulls out, you see that she has grown into the character that we're familiar with. These two bodies were arrived at through sculpture as well as body casting. This face cast, in fact, was from Alien 3. When we cast Sigourney Weaver, we decided to make a copy of that and graft it onto the body cast of a body double. Sigourney was not available at the time that we needed to get this done. And then everything was heavily resculpted and textured and so on. The little girl, we cast through the casting agent of the film, found a double who looked most like Sigourney Weaver based on the childhood photos that we had of Sigourney. We did a body mold of the young girl and then resculpted the face to make her look a little bit more like Sigourney. And then, of course, we cast the pieces out of a translucent silicone and then airbrushed and applied all the final detail with the eyebrows being punched in by hand one at a time. One of the things that was a complication to this effect was that our intention was to submerge these bodies into a tube of water. As if she was in some sort of liquid amnio fluid or something when she was being cloned. In our tests, we lowered the body into the water and realized that the lensing effect inside this tube changed the proportions so dramatically that she looked like something from the Victorian era. She was just suddenly this huge woman. So we instantly pulled it out of the tube before Sigourney could walk by and saw it, and we came up with another solution, which was to smoke the inside of the tube so that it would have the appearance of fluid without the distorting lensing effect.